What happens when two people decide to give up their regular day-to-day life and risk everything for adventure? Hi, I'm Yael from Love Luggage and Paws. My husband Tom and I packed our bags, left our life in Tel Aviv behind, and got on a plane to Vietnam, and would love to take you with us on this journey. So we flew out in February. Before settling anywhere, we decided to start by traveling, and our first stop was Hanoi. We spent the first few days exploring the city and getting used to the initial cultural shock, especially the driving. The traffic culture here is oddly polite, but the priority is always to keep moving. Cars and motorbikes rarely stop for pedestrians, so you very quickly learn to just start walking and trust that traffic will kind of flow around you. I had visited Vietnam before, back in 2017, and Tom came here in December to scope out the place and see if bringing the pets in the future would be manageable. But when we arrived here together in February, I was honestly shocked by how much this country has developed. The highways, the bridges, the skyscrapers, I genuinely don't remember any of this being here when I first visited. The amount of progress this country has been through in just 8 years is unbelievable. The younger generation feels much more internationally connected. You see a lot more tattoos and piercings, much more English being spoken, and lucky for me, there's a far greater awareness of veganism and vegetarianism, which allows me for options for much better, amazing vegan food. Anyway, we stayed in Hanoi's old quarter. Hanoi is a city of about 9 million people, so it gets pretty hectic. We explored the city by foot, tried amazing vegan food, and slowly got used to the Vietnamese experience. Then we took a sleeper bus to Sapa. Sapa itself is a city in northern Vietnam with a population of about 70,000 people as of 2022. I assume it's larger now, but that is the information I was able to find. It too surprised me with how much it had advanced, with restaurants and hotels everywhere. The town itself was actually nice and warm when we arrived, but once we went up the mountain to the nearby villages, it got much colder and much rainier, and also much more similar to the Vietnam I had remembered. Still a huge difference from what I saw here 8 years ago with restaurants and homestays and all the regular technology we're used to seeing anywhere else. But it still has that feeling of a village with children running around and dogs and chickens roaming free, and those beautiful rice fields surrounding everything. The cold weather didn't stop us from doing a hike through the villages of the area, which turned out to be much hotter than we had planned for. It's insane, we could barely walk up the mountain, and those local ladies who are older than us are so used to it, they were walking up like it's nothing and offering help. It was honestly both humbling and impressive. We spent the night at a homestay up the mountain, had the local Vietnamese meal, and woke up to the most gorgeous view. The next day we continued hiking around the villages and found ourselves completely out of breath, both by the beautiful views and by the steep, muddy climbs. Tom was definitely not dressed for the occasion in long jeans, but somehow we survived it. After that, we took a sleeper bus back to Hanoi. And I do want to talk a moment to talk about sleeper buses because they're such a huge part of traveling through Vietnam. They're incredibly common for long distances and honestly very convenient. This too has changed massively since my 2017 visit. Back then, the sleeping cabin was much smaller, definitely not meant for somebody my height, let alone anyone taller. And the booking was normally done through agencies, so you never really knew what kind of bus you were going to get. Now you can use apps like 12Go, choose your time slot, the price range, and even the type of bus you want. The cheap one has no privacy, but still USB ports to charge your devices, a little blanket and a pillow, and a reading light. The more expensive version has a spacious cabin all for yourself with a curtain for privacy and even an LCD screen. They ask you to take your shoes off when you board and give you a plastic bag to store them. One of the funniest improvements since my 2017 visit is the bathroom stop situation. Back in 2017, every stop meant waiting forever for everybody to put their shoes back on and then take them back off as they returned. Now, they give out flip-flops. So you can leave your shoes in the cabin, quickly go do what you gotta do, and come back. Those flip-flops are usually pretty small and not a perfect fit for my European feet, but they get the job done. I would still recommend wearing socks because, well, you never really know who wore those flip-flops before you. And while we're already on the subject, even the gas station bathrooms have improved immensely. I still remember squat toilets and very basic facilities. Now most of them have regular stalls, well equipped with even a bidet and soap. Sometimes you have to pay a small fee for toilet paper, so it's worth carrying cash or bringing your own. And in some of the places, they just charge you a small fee for using the bathroom. We got back to Hanoi and had a night of rest before we moved straight on to the next adventure, Halong Bay. Join us in the next video and I'll tell you all about it. Oh, and as promised, some pet updates from back home. See you in the next one!